It's the Slam Dunk.
Okay, so John Tamihere loves to talk about empowerment, but let's be honest. Right now, he looks less like a champion of the people and more like the architect of his party's own demise. He has built a sprawling, tangled empire, built around himself, his family and his closest loyalists. This was never the intent of Tariana Turia, who would be horrified how JT has taken her vehicle and turned it into his own plaything. The game is almost up. The walls are closing in. I'll explain shortly how JT and his mates or close allies or family are influential at almost every level of the party. Every level of Te Pāti Māori, almost every seat as well. It's deeply concerning for the party as it raises the question just how democratic or undemocratic is the party and how fair has their decision-making been over the expulsion of Taku Te Whereas and Mari Mino Kapakingi. On my first take of the facts, the whole thing's been a jack-up. The removals, or the sackings if you like, if contested, may not even stand up to scrutiny. The whole thing's been underhand and done without the necessary people and numbers in the room. In short, the party's ignored any internal rules and gone ahead and had a kangaroo court and let the result stand. It is a debacle and chaos. In my view, JT has been hugely unconstitutional and undemocratic in his approach to get rid of these two MPs. It needed something like 36 people to vote from all the levels of the party and across the electorates. Instead, it jammed it up with just 11 votes and said game over. Crucially, members and electorates up and down the country were not asked for their view. It is a JT debacle of his own making, and it couldn't be messier, and it couldn't be more woolly and undemocratic. It's a sham, a shambles and a kangaroo court of the worst kind. Not everyone was in the room. Now, both MPs say they will contest their expulsions and expect others to contest JT's leadership as well as president. This is a debacle, folks, of huge proportions. Why would anyone consider voting for this mess now? The once great Te Pāti Māori has collapsed, and it arguably could be just the two co-leaders. And now two other MPs are considering joining Whereas and Kapakingi on the outside, newly elected Kaipara, Oreni Kaipara, and Hana Rafferty Clark. If they left, it would mean all MPs have left the leadership. And just left the leadership there. And it's just JT and the co-leaders. So the other MPs have gone, the co-leaders remain with JT. What does that tell you? The empire of JT is creaking and it's leaking, and it's finally been questioned loudly. Now, I've been contacted by a number of people in the party over the weekend and had it explained to me how Tamihere has peppered his own people and family right throughout the crucial levels of the party. Now, given the Māori world is small and hugely interconnected, where whānau lines run deep, some might say it's no big deal or it's actually hard to get away from that. And in many cases, that's not entirely new. Now, we've seen it before, but it's worth noting just how much of a grip Tamihere has on the party. Here goes. The chair of the Tāmaki Makaurau electorate works for John Tamihere's Waipirata Trust. The co-leader is married to JT's daughter. The co-chair of the Ikaroa Rafferty seat works for Waipirata Trust as well, and she voted for the expulsion of the two MPs without approval from the members. There have been resignations as a result of this action. The chair of Te Tai Haoru is JT's sister-in-law, and co-chair of Wairiki is a Waititi. The only ones not under JT's influence are Waikato, Te Tai Tukaro and Te Tai Tonga. The last two, of course, are the seats in which the MPs Whereas and Kapakingi have been expelled from. All of these people are on the National Council and get to vote. The Wahine Vice President is a Flavel, and she works at Waipirata as well, and gets a vote, and the Secretary of the party also gets a vote and also works for Waipirata. Then, of course, at the top, we've got President John Tamihere. His son-in-law is Rawiri Waititi, the co-leader, and his daughter is General Manager of Te Pāti Māori, and that's his daughter, Kitty. And now Te Pāti Māori members are publicly breaking their ranks and have spoken to me over the weekend. Branches are calling for John Tamihere's resignation. MPs are openly challenging his influence. The cracks aren't cracks anymore, they're fault lines. It's like an earthquake. Here's the danger. If the party becomes synonymous with one man's network or one man's relationships, one man's authority, then the kaupapa, or the work needed to get done, gets lost. The movement shrinks, the vision narrows, and few gains, if any, are made. My biggest criticism is they have had no wins now in the Māori Party for about 5 years. 5 years, and what do they have to show for it? What do they have to show for their time in Parliament? Rank bad behaviour, petulant crap, and throwing their toys around. A haka seen by millions around the world does not put food on the table of one Māori. Not one whānau in New Zealand gets a win out of that. Well, maybe one, the MP who did the haka. But it's got to be more than one haka every 3 years to earn your keep. Because no political party, no charitable structure can survive when the power centre is so tight it's practically air-sealed. Let's put it bluntly. JT, or John Tamihere, has become too big inside his own system or inside his own tent. And the system is starting to suffocate. It doesn't have to be this way, but it will be, unless he does what real leaders do, when the storm hits and they need to compromise. JT needs to do something he hasn't done before, compromise. He needs to share power. He's never shown it at this gig. He needs to let the party breathe. He's never seen that. It's quite the complex web because this isn't just one man in a leadership role. It's one man sitting on 3 thrones. Head of the Waipara Trust, head of Te Whānau Order Commissioning Agency, and the president of Te Pāti Māori. That's not leadership. That's control freak, a dictatorship. That's not wanting to give anything up. It's control freak on a huge scale. That's what it is. What is he hiding? And people inside and outside his own movement are starting to ask the obvious. How can one man sit at the top of the organisations funded by taxpayers, influencing social services and leading a political party that wants to form governments? Add in the family connections, his wife and senior leadership, his daughter married to the co-leader of the party, and the picture shifts again. It doesn't matter how pure the intentions are. It doesn't matter if he believes he's doing the right thing. The perception is toxic. The optics are terrible. And the trust has eroded. And the voters, are they sticking around? I would doubt it. These guys have crumbled. The once great Te Pāti Māori or the Māori Party is now a shadow or a shell of its former self. And JT's taken them there. They've gone down with a sinking waka. Māori voters are too smart to be associated with losers. Right now, the message from the grassroots is unmistakable. John, step back, open the windows, let some sunlight in. And if he doesn't, then the movement he helped build will be torn apart, not by its enemies, but by its architect, JT. If it survives this, then it's a true miracle. But the damage so far is so vast and so deep, I think they're done.
Editor-in-Chief with Duncan Garner.